I was already a god when I got mine. So, yeah, I had to get all the way to godhood without being a cheat. Once again, I humbly apologize, oh Supreme One, Jake snickered. Does your bloodline also get a stat increase? Raising an eyebrow, the Malefic Viper asked, does yours? Percentage or flat value? What stats? It increases perception by a percentage. Was 5% at weird G rank, 10% at F rank, and now 15% at E rank, Jake answered, as he took another chug of his beer, savoring the taste. And I assume this is the only thing the bloodline does. No, it does a bunch of other things. You can upgrade a rare skill straight to ancient rarity before just transforming it entirely and allowing me to make a legendary skill. Oh yeah, that netted me another title, Jake said nonchalantly. It shouldn't be that fantastic in his own mind with how powerful bloodline sounded. It's still somewhat useful. Jake, the Viper said, from this day on, never talk about the details of your bloodline again, especially not the stat part and skill. Wait, why? There's something wrong with that, Jake asked, taken aback. Does your bloodline do something similar? No, it doesn't, the Malefic Viper said, with a severe look. Not even close. Chapter 22. Of Fate and Destiny. Okay, no talking about bloodlines, Jake said, a bit hesitant, but not arguing back. They both sat in silence for a while before the Viper spoke again. But it does explain quite a few things. What do you mean? About this entire tutorial of yours. This tutorial was more than a little unique. Pepper's smile said that it was ruined, and I think change would be a better word. Again, what do you mean? The Malefic smiled at him as he leaned back. I guess we should talk about it. So, let me tell you a story, Jake, about a particular tutorial during the integration of the 93rd universe. In this story, we have two main characters, one who enters with his 9 colleagues, and one who enters on his lonesome. The lonesome one quickly finds his stride as he discovers a wand and kills the ones he entered with. This shall be the impetus for him to realize his destiny. As for the other, he struggles a bit more, but he has some competent people around him who helped him in the start. But already on the first day, it goes wrong when a large beast attacks them, and they lose too. Jake looked confused as he interrupted. That isn't what happened. This isn't your story, Jake, so stop interrupting, the Viper said with a playful smile. This is the story of what was to happen, a story of fate and destiny. Oh, was I? Yeah, 2 dead colleagues. Anyway, they struggled to survive and ended up making camp to rest for the night. One of our protagonist's colleagues sits watch alone for a while as they try to get sleep, but the night would not turn out to be a restful one. 3 attackers appeared in the night, and despite his efforts, the one on watch dies. Jacob mourns as he has lost 3 friends that day, Dennis, and Jake. Now even more confused, Jake did all he could not to interrupt, as he had even forgotten a bottle of beer in his hand. They fight off the ambushers, but take injuries. They are soon found by a man named Richard and his lieutenant Nicholas. Half-coerced, they join him. After that, the Viper pretty much summarized what had happened to his colleagues while he was in the dungeon, how they had struggled, and how many had died as they were split up. But there were some differences that Jake quickly noticed. I killed Nicholas, he said, instantly giving an apologetic look as he had to be interrupted. That's good, Jake. You might be dead at this point. Sure screws up the storyline. Anyway, continue. Our second protagonist is our old friend William, the chosen one, born with an incredibly neat talent for man manipulation and a mentality very suited for one striving for the top. Of course, undetermined. But he's also broken in many ways. He is arrogant, delusional, and most importantly, he's limited in comprehending the world. He does not understand emotions, which will come back to bite him in the ass down the line, but it's very beneficial in the early days. But I wouldn't worry, because the screenwriter will fix this through some character development. The screenwriter and his smile will pay off other divine actors, and they will outsource to their mortal counterparts in the tutorial. Make sure he develops in the intended direction, gets the things he needs when he needs them. He teams up with a few essential side characters. While Richard manipulates William, Richard himself is slowly being manipulated by his former right-hand man, Nicholas. The Viper then once more summarized what had happened after he left the dungeon. Again, with slight changes that the god made sure to point out. When he came to the final fight, he summarized it, but added, without Nicholas' betrayal at the final moment, William got put out of the vision for far too long. In this version, William is also betrayed because Nicholas fears his power, and he ends up fleeing the battlefield, wounded but still alive, and able to keep up his leveling speed. Aiden is also still alive in this play, which is why the fight is so cool to begin with.